All right, so we are joined by Jim today at the Siemens booth at Automate 2024. We've got a very interesting application behind us. As you can see, there is a robot arm moving objects between two bins. We would like to learn more about how Siemens comes in and helps such solutions, and obviously dig into the architecture, but also the application. So Jim, could you give us a bit of an introduction of what we have behind us?
Absolutely, I'd love to. What you're seeing here is a solution we call Sematic Robot Picked AI. What this is an AI-enabled bin picking solution. Okay, very specifically, if you don't know what bin picking is, it's picking things out of a bin, right? It's very simply put. I'm not going to make it any more complicated than it is. And that's pretty much what it is, right? This is for intralogistics specifically. If you have an application in warehousing, this is exactly where you would see this. And what it does, long and short, is in the bin, you see a lot of different items in there. Those are anything you want to throw in that bin, it can pick up. That's basically what it does. It can pick that up. And this is part of the AI. This is a very special thing. You don't have to tell it in advance what part it is. It'll pick up anything you throw in that bin, basically.
And Jim, just I guess like taking a quick step back when it comes to AI, right? I think there's a lot of questions on the practical applications of AI, but in this case, you mentioned that the controller that this is running on is paired on the backplane of an S7 1500 series. Could you maybe confirm that, but also expand on that a little bit when it comes to when we say AI, where does it actually run and what is it actually doing?
Absolutely, yeah. So we say AI enabled, and what that means basically is there's a part of it that's AI enabled, let's put it that way. So basically what it does, it takes a 3D picture of that bin full of items. And the AI part is sending that picture into an IPC, an industrial PC, and this basically runs it through a neural network. It's a deep learning algorithm that determines what's the best object to pick, what's the highest one, what's the best priority, what would I pick first, and what's the pick point. So basically the input is that beautiful 3D picture, and the output is actually a pick point that gives you exactly what to pick up.
So I think that's really interesting, and I think for me, Jim, maybe the most interesting part is that Siemens has built the software and has built an ecosystem of robotic arms and vision cameras and other hardware partners. Can you tell us a little bit more about that ecosystem and maybe why Siemens has opted to go that route?
Yeah, absolutely. Siemens is a company that has a huge portfolio of products, obviously. And this extends into solutions now. And with AI, digitalization is bringing about all this AI. It's enabling things, right? We have a whole automation environment now that we can do things like AI. Back 30 years ago in college, I studied AI, believe it or not. But we couldn't do anything with it. We didn't have computers, right? We barely had computers. Let's say we barely had computers at that time. But now we have computers. Some of the IPCs, I don't know if we can see it on the picture or not, but some of our IPCs actually have AI chips on board by NVIDIA. So as this technology has moved forward to this point, we can now actually use the AI that we know. So that's exactly what we're taking advantage of here. And like you mentioned about the robotics and whatnot behind us, interesting to note, like you said, we are not selling the robot or the camera or the picker or anything like this. We're selling the AI solution.
Yes.
We're getting into a lot of different AI areas right now. Visual quality inspection, all kinds of things. Robotics is just one area, right? Prediction, all kinds of prediction models. We deal with all this stuff. So this is just one area. So we're interested in selling the model. So that's what's interesting with us is that you can pick your own robot. If you have a robot right now, we'll make it into a picking machine. It doesn't matter. It can be used.
I was going to say, I love that. I think it's super interesting, and I love seeing where Siemens is going on the AI side. Anyone who's watched the channel for a long time knows that I'm excited about it, but the thing that excites me about it is applications, right? And going and seeing applications like this, going and seeing applications like Industrial Copilot, that I've talked a lot about, and we saw a lot at SPS Nuremberg last year. I think all of those are very exciting, especially as we see ecosystems open up and we can bring hardware we already own, or we can buy most hardware that we want to be able to go run a lot of these applications on.
Yep. It's very open. The industry is becoming more open in that aspect.
Yes.
I can tell you right now that this isn't the only AI I deal with.
Yes.
Somehow my products have all the AI, so it all kind of funnels to me. And I can tell you that we get calls on all kinds of projects, and Siemens is not an expert on every AI project. So how do you deal with that? So we have partners, right? We're partnering with NVIDIA, with data monsters, and this isn't just their chips and our devices. We're actually partnering with them. Absolutely. So I literally will have a call with them and say, hey, we can't solve this problem. Can you guys help us out? So we do that kind of thing these days. And I've not seen that in the past with Siemens. So this AI and digitalization, it takes us a new direction. It's very interesting.
Jim, maybe putting you a bit on the spot, what are some of the very interesting or intricate maybe applications that you've seen pick in place being able to solve that maybe previously were unable to solve without this type of solution?
Okay. Pick in place specifically, I have to say, I don't think that's a super exciting area that varies all that much. This is intralogistics. So really, it is actually one application. You can't really use it on manufacturing areas too much. I've had people ask me about, oh, I've got this application. We talk, and it turns out they want to accurately place it at a very high speed. Not really what this does. This is just picking things out of a bin. So if you can imagine, everyone orders things online these days, and it comes in a box with 10 items in a box. Somehow it got in that box. And it's either a person, literally, or it's a machine like this that did it. One of the two. 80% chance is probably a person standing there doing this.
Absolutely.
So that's a pretty big deal. If you can replace that job, which is very difficult to fill, it's an expensive job, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to show up. You can't do box filling from home, right? Nobody wants to do that. You have to go to the office. So basically, this is the kind of machine that replaces. So nothing super interesting with this that I've seen, to tell you the truth. It's the kind of stuff in the bin right now, just general stuff. Could be clothing, could be anything. So what is interesting though, once you pick it up, you can do what you like. So once I pick it up, you can rotate it through a barcode reader, you can sort things out. There's lots of things you can do with it, of course. And you can have this on an AGV. You can ride over, pick up a part, move it somewhere else and drop it off. So lots of applications.
Absolutely. For me, I think it's interesting as a starting point. We have to start somewhere. And on the interlogistics side, removing the human. I've been that human for a couple of summers in college of going and taking things from bins that look very similar to this to cardboard boxes to go ship out. It is not a fun job. It's not a fun job to do for the summer in college. And I'd have to imagine it's a even less fun job to go do full-time as your job. So for me, this is an exciting beginning of what I hope to see lots more manufacturing industrial applications in the future.
I'm sure we will. They come up all the time. I wish I had an interesting one to tell you that we succeeded on. I've heard a lot of things about picking like apples and whatnot, things like this. We try to figure out how to do this, and there's probably a way. But lots of things come in like that, and we haven't quite, it's not really the niche we're shooting for. We're always looking to expand. We consider everything. Talk to everyone.